Hey everybody, this is Allison from Ecos Institute, and today I want to share with you a project that you can do at home to bring some outdoor education, some nature science inside. Today we're going to be talking about plant reproduction and propagation. That just means making more plants. And we're specifically going to be talking about succulents. I chose succulents for a few reasons. One of them is that they are native to Southern California. So if you're thinking, I don't know what a succulent is, I bet you do. Just walking around the neighborhood, you probably pass by several types of succulents. And for this project, we are going to learn how to grow a whole new plant by just using a piece of an existing succulent plant. This method is called using cuttings. So they cut a small piece of a plant, and that piece will grow into a whole new plant. If you've ever heard of a lizard being able to regrow a tail if they lose their tail, that's pretty incredible. We can't do that as humans. But plants are taking it a step further. Instead of regrowing a leaf that might have broken off, that leaf that broke off grows a whole new plant. So if you think of it with the lizard analogy, it's as if a lizard lost its tail and then that tail grew into a whole new lizard. So it's a really cool way that plants can reproduce. Another reason that I chose succulents to work with is they are very easy. They don't require a lot of water. You don't really have to do much to take care of them. They take care of themselves really well. And then the last reason that I chose succulents is I wanted to make a project that you could potentially do and not buy anything. We're not really going to the store as much as we used to, really trying to stay inside unless we really need to be going out for something. So to do a project where you don't have to buy anything is really important to me. So the first thing that we're going to do is just do a little refresher on how plants reproduce so that we understand what to look for when we're doing our project with our succulents. Plants will need these resources in different amounts. Our succulents will want a lot of sun, not a lot of water, and we're going to give them a habitat that recreates their natural soil. So here we have some materials that you can use from the recycling bin to make a planter for your new succulent. I have the tray that berries come in from the grocery store. This is a great starting out place because it has those holes in it already, and it's really easy to use for those brand new plants. I have a bottom of a soda pop bottle, really thin plastic, so it's very easy to put some holes in the bottom to actually just cut them with scissors. It was super easy. And then finally, I have to use this. This is my peanut butter jar. And I say I have to use it because it was so hard to get the holes in the bottom of my peanut butter jar. It's a really thick, strong plastic. So it'll last a long time, but if you wanted to use a plastic that was kind of difficult to get holes in, you might want to ask an adult. They might have some special tools that'll help you out. So I'm going to use my peanut butter jar to show you the layers that I made for the soil. Again, we want to recreate what the plant would be used to in its natural environment. So if we're looking at the peanut butter jar, you can see there's actually a whole layer of just rocks at the bottom. Start out with really big rocks, move up to smaller rocks, then all of this is sand, and that very top layer that's a little bit darker, that is just the first centimeter of soil outside. That's where all of the decomposers are hard at work breaking down dead plants, other animals that are being returned to the soil. So that top layer is darker from all those extra nutrients that our plants will love. And then the sand and the rocks just really ensure that our plant is going to be in a well-draining soil. That means that water goes in and it comes through very quickly. Here we have two examples of succulents that you might find in your own neighborhood. The Live Forever and Ice Plant are both pretty common and would be perfect for this project. So now we are ready to show you how to take a cutting from a plant. I have a few different succulents in my house, but this one is a jade plant, and it is growing really well. In fact, it's getting super crowded in this pot, so I know it's not going to hurt the jade plant at all to take some leaves. In fact, it'll really help the jade plant so that there's enough water and space for all of it. So first, I need to change the direction here a little bit so you can see. We're going to take a leaf from the bottom. These leaves are getting kind of crowded and they're already kind of in the shade from the rest of the plant. So take one of the leaves at the bottom. For this jade plant, it's really easy to just tear off a leaf depending on what kind of plant you might use. You might need to ask to use a knife or scissors, but let's choose a leaf. Maybe this guy right down here is pretty crowded for space. So we want to cut it really close to the stem, making sure that we get the entire leaf and not like half of it. So getting the other guys out of the way, cutting right next to the stem. And then we have that whole teardrop leaf. So once you have your cutting, you're not going to plant them right away. The succulent leaves have to go through a process called callusing. Humans have calluses too, maybe on your hands or your feet. It's just a part of your skin that's a little bit harder. So these leaves need to heal themselves and kind of build up that tough skin again. If they don't, the first time you water them, they're going to suck up a bunch of water, too much water. So you have to give them time to heal that part of them that we cut. So I just left my leaves in this tray for a few days. And once they start to shrivel up a little bit, it is time to put them in your container. So I have my peanut butter jar, and I'm going to put just the ends of my leaves in the soil. You really don't have to bury them. They're going to grow roots on their own. And I always like to do two just in case one doesn't work. But I'm going to keep an eye on these leaves, and in a little while I should see some root growth. And while the full-grown plant doesn't need water every day, these leaves do, but not a lot. So remember, they're desert plants. We're going to give them just a little bit of water every day until they start putting down those roots. So I hope that you try this at home. It's a really cool project, especially while we have some time on our hands to observe our plant science in our homes. And remember to ask lots of questions, stay curious, build your confidence, and make those connections with your natural world and each other.